You are welcome everyone to another video tutorial. Today we want to look at forms. Similar to HTML, React uses a form component that helps the users to interact with the web application. Now we all know what form is. We've all in one way or the other filled some forms online, registration forms, login forms online, and whatsoever form. So form is a very vital component when it comes to web applications. So we're going to look at how to create a form in React. So let us look at some of those things that we need to create a form in React. Submitting the forms. You can control the submit action by adding an event handler in the onSubmit attribute for the form, which I'm going to show you. You can as well add a click event to your button for submitting. You all know what an event. We'll be playing with events right from our use state and our use effects. Forms control inputs. In a controlled input, you hook your input to a state. In a controlled input, you read and set the input value through the component state. So these are some of the things I'm going to show you. So let's get started. So what I will do, I will create install Bootstrap because I want to use Bootstrap, so I won't waste my time. So yeah, I'll cd my first. Okay, I've seeded into my first project, which is this, my first. Remember that. So I will install Bootstrap. To install Bootstrap is npm install Bootstrap. The I stand for install Bootstrap. npm install Bootstrap, and I press enter. So to start installing Bootstrap, make sure you are connected to the internet for you to install some packages that are online. So that is it. So let's wait a little bit for Bootstrap to be installed. So as Bootstrap is installing, I'll go to the Bootstrap documentation, which is here. Now take note, we have a lot of user interface, or we have a lot of user UI frameworks and libraries online. We have Bootstrap, we have Material UI, we have Materialize CSS. Anyone you choose, you feel comfortable to use. So I'll click on read the doc from the Bootstrap official documentation. So this is a Bootstrap official documentation. Let me search for form control. There's a form control. So I'll click it. Okay. So later I'll come back to this to get this field, this email address field. So I'll go to my VS Code and see if it has installed. Okay, Bootstrap has been installed already. So remember I told you from the beginning of this class that whenever you install a package, the main content of that package goes to the node modules. This node modules here. This node modules. That's where it goes to. Why the words, the information, the details goes to the package.json. So if I click package.json, which you are seeing on the screen, you'll see Bootstrap 5.2, which is the latest we're using. Bootstrap 5.2. You can see that's under the package.json. So if you go to node modules, you see the folders, the directory that was those files online that was downloaded and installed on your project. So this is node modules. When I scroll, I should be seeing Bootstrap. When I scroll down, you see Bootstrap. So you can see Bootstrap, and it's a directory that contains subdirectories, files. You can see this Bootstrap. If I click on the directory, the drop down, you will see dist, JS, SCSS, license, and the rest. If you click on this, you will see CSS, JS. Click on CSS, you can see it has multiple files. So in other words, the node modules contain the content of what you are installing into your project, while the package.json contain just a name and a version. So I hope that is clear enough. So I'll go to my app.js. I will import my Bootstrap here. I'll say import. Then I'll locate the node modules. Node modules / bootstrap / dist, then / css / bootstrap.min.css. So I'll do the same thing for the JS. I'll import this Bootstrap, I'll make reference it. So I'll change this CSS to JS, and I'll change this other CSS to JS. This is all what you need to get started with Bootstrap. You hear that? So if I save this now, and if I save this, let me for this to compile. So if this finish compiling, if I go to my browser, you see the difference in terms of, this is our normal, this was what we are doing. This, if I come here and go back again, you will see that it has changed. You can see the button has changed, everything has changed. We are now officially using Bootstrap now. So let's create a form, since form is what we want to focus our attention on. So I'll create a new component. Let me minimize my node modules so that it won't cause chaos. So inside the SRC folder I have a component. So inside the component I will create a file, call this file forms.js. This is a component called forms.js. So I will generate my boilerplate ROFC. So inside here I'm going to create a form. Okay, so I'll call this class name of container. I'll give this this Bootstrap I'm doing right now a class name of row. Then I give this a class name of called MD6. So I'll use a Bootstrap card. I'll give this a Bootstrap card. Give class of Bootstrap or card. Then let me put a shadow effect to it. Okay, so here I will come here and give a Bootstrap card body, class name of card body. Okay, so here I'll come here, I'll just say H3. I'll say registration form for instance. So I just come here and give this a class of text center. So yeah, I'll open my form here. This is where I'll put my form. I'll put the form here. So inside this form is where I'll get my fields, those fields of mine from the Bootstrap documentation. So this is the fields. I want to play with this field. So let me just copy these fields. Copy this. Then I go to my form. Inside the form tag, I paste those that inputs. So you know I told you that Bootstrap for the input has to be self-closing tag. So you put a self-closing tag here. Then this place so that I can come here. I say I want this to be email. Okay, let me leave it as email or name. Or say I want this to be name. Placeholder as name or enter or full name. Let me say full name. Then yeah, I don't need the ID. Yeah, take the ID out. I don't need this label for ID. Take that out. Then this if type will be text. Then this one will be full name. Okay, full name. So I'll copy this, the div. I'll copy that. Then I'll come here. I'll make this to be email. Then I'll make this to be email, the placeholder as email. Okay, so I'll come here, I'll paste this, I'll make this to be password. Input type full name, this should be email. The type here should be email. Then this other one will be password. Then the placeholder will be password, and the type will be password. Then I come here, I want it to be at the center, so I'll use my flex, justify content center. So I want it to have a margin top of 5. I save. So once I save, I want it to reload. Oh sorry, I have to save, I have to put it into the app.js. So it's a component. So I'll take away these hooks. I don't need the hook again. Take this out. So here I'll import my form here. So my forms, which is a component, so you can see it has auto imported it for me because of my snippets. The one has to download and install at the beginning. ES7 React Redux snippets. So this is my form. You can see that on the screen. That's the form. So I can, our form does not have a button, so I have to go get a button for this form. Let me go to my forms and give the card a padding of 3, a padding of 3. Okay, I think it has now, yeah, it has a padding now. So what is needed is a button. Let me go to Bootstrap and get their button. So here I will come to Bootstrap and click on buttons. Click on buttons. So I'll look for a button to use. So let me use this button that is long. So I'll copy this code from Bootstrap. Then I go to my forms.js and add it before the closing tag of the form. I only need one button, so I take just one button. So make sure you make the type to be submit. Then here I'll come here and I say register. So I'll save this and I go to my browser. So you can see we have a registration form already. So I hope you're seeing what I've just done. So after creating this registration form, the next thing is to now integrate what we've learned, which is what you can as well add a click event to your button for submitting. So what I'll need a use state. I'll need a use state functionality, and I'll also add a click event. I also add a control submit. I also have a submit action by adding the event handler on the onSubmit attribute, which I'll do later in the next class. So let's stop here now. In our next class, we'll continue the process. Thanks very much.